store for you guys tonight. So let's get fired up. All right. So I apologize to everybody. Delayed my dog unexpectedly, and I was helping her with a few things. But more, I told you. Uh, okay. Hope if that's a little bit. Hopefully, this does not rate. I had said that I was going to unveil my letter to Brees Hall to you guys, and I am. So I wrote him this letter, and it says, Brees, you said 4 years in, you're running out of shine to show who you are in this league. But I know who you are. Can you autograph this for me? And to go along with the letter, I have this. Brees Hall has put the ball on the turf every single game this year. All of the fumbles may not have been lost, but plenty of them were. This is a problem. It's a problem that needs to get solved. if Aaron Glenn really wants to be an old school coach, he needs to have Brees Hall carrying that ball around the building with him, and everybody from the players to the staff to the janitors trying to knock it out when he walks by. I'm really sick of seeing that guy fumble. Also, for the first time tonight, I'm going to show you guys some new merch. This is the shirt that I designed for the women. And when I first started talking to people about this, I started thinking, what kind of a shirt can I make that's for women but has to do my New York Jets YouTube show? It's really harder than you would think. So in the end, I came up with this. We have the show logo on the back, but on the front, it's smoking. And it's got this nice metallic green heart with the reflection of the New York skyline in it. So that is what I came up with for the ladies in the audience. Actually, really happy with the way that. Okay, now that is all over with, get to some points about the game. I didn't watch this game. I was at work when it happened. I was aware of what happened. I saw the highlights, and since then I went back and started watching the game and trying to break it down. There was a few things that I noticed right away. One of the first plays that Dallas had, the no-name receiver that none of us have probably ever heard of before that game, Flournoy. Uh, I'm watching it, and after he catches the ball, Malachi Moore actually, did a good job of wrapping him up, but he was able to break away from the tackle. And Cisco sees that Moore is tackling him and like takes his foot off the gas, is almost like jogging. Now, once he breaks away, Cisco eventually catches up with him and makes the tackle. But the point is these guys are not playing through the whistle. Okay, these guys are not swarming to the ball like we always hear people talk about. Um, on the first catch that Pickens made, Sauce was trailing. Isaiah Oliver was underneath. Like Pickens was sandwiched in between the two of them. Neither of them looks for the ball. Oliver was actually in the perfect position to pick that ball, but once again, as always, they never get their head turned around. Uh, I thought that Glenn said that these guys were going to start attacking the ball in the air. I'm not seeing that. Um, the next play was pass to Lipke. Um, and once again, like the pursuit was just poor. Uh, the Ferguson touchdown, um, both linebackers not running full speed. A lot of times it seems like these guys are just kind of jogging when they're in pursuit. Um, the Dak Prescott run, like he just flat out outran Clements. Okay, that wasn't a lack of effort. That's just Clements is big and dumb and slow, and there's no way he's going to catch up to him. Um, there was another catch later, right before the first half ended, that Flournoy again caught, where he just absolutely punks Brandon Stevens. Like he goes to push off, and I don't know if Stevens was trying to do a Josh Allen and flop to sell it, or if he just got put on his ass. But the long and short of it, he got put on his ass. And then probably two of the most egregious plays is right before halftime, both the Javonte Williams runs. The touchdown run and the long run that should have never been a long run, where they were just trying to run out the clock. Both linebackers running slow, just slow pursuit, and M's as well. Um, it seems like, and I've noticed this with some players. Cisco does it all the time, but I'm not with you. Where as the carrier's approaching, they hesitate. They like stop. I breaking down, getting ready to make the goal or whatever, but just that small hesitation is to get by them. Because the Jets defenders are hesitating. The offensive players that we're playing are not right by. Everybody said, and I'm gonna say like Aaron Glenn, go back and watch the tape. Okay, listening to Jake Asman earlier today. Oh, you losing CJ Mosley, things that we have leadership, this and that, and the other. Dude, I said that a year ago. When Sherwood had to step in for Mosley, I was worried about the communication in the back end, the leader that Mosley is. Is he going to be able to do that? And yes, he was making tackles. He was not missing tackles. However, I wasn't seeing forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, picks. Like I wasn't seeing like the big impact plays. They decided to go ahead and pay Sherwood. He's a smaller linebacker, fast, but he's not using that speed. And this is the thing. Like Sherwood last year, he led the NFL in tackles. Everybody said Sherwood was so good, he's not missing tackles. Dude, not missing tackles is literally his job as a linebacker. Like, are we going to start patting receivers on the back because they actually catch the ball? Are we going to start, complimenting the quarterback because he throws it? Like, he's literally just doing his job. And this is the thing that I've started to think about more and more. The fact that Sherwood had so many tackles last year, is that a result of Sherwood being a really good player? Or is that a direct result of the time of possession being so lopsided because our offense could not stay on the field and our defense could not get off the field? I've said this for years in fantasy football. Give me a really good linebacker on a team whose offense sucks, where the defense is going to be on the field all day. Because in my league, linebackers get 1 point per tackle. And if a guy is on the field all day, that is more chance to rack up tackles. So, you know, eh, I'm really starting to wonder if the production we saw from Sherwood isn't a result of how much that defense was on the field. And, you know, I don't know. I don't think that the Jets' problem on defense right now is a lack of talent. I think it's a lack of effort, pure and simple. Like I said, I see these guys hesitating. I see these guys not running full speed. And I see these guys like, basically waiting to, let somebody else do it. Oh, looks like he's going to make the tackle. I don't have to. These guys are assuming that somebody else is going to make a play. And you know what they say about assuming. If you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. However, these guys aren't just making an ass out of themselves, they're making an ass out of this fan base. And that shit pisses me off. Okay. I watch every game. I buy all kinds of Jets gear. I live and breathe New York Jets all day long. And they're putting a product on the field that is almost unwatchable. And it pisses me off. Now, I am not going to go so far as to condemn Aaron Glenn and blame it on him. When Aaron Glenn first got hired, I mean, as he's giving his press conference that day, there's someone coming into Jake's screen name, fire Aaron Glenn. That's going to have that before we've even played a game. Now, and yes, Rick Kett, I agree. Some of it is lack of talent. Now, Tony Adams, he should be gone from this team. Unfortunately, we can replace him with Malachi Moore. Like, unfortunately, we're probably going to have to wait till next year to get rid of some of these bums and bring in some more competent players that fit the scheme. This was another thing I was going to say. Well, actually, let me finish my Aaron Glenn point first. Okay. I really do believe that Aaron Glenn is a good coach. I believe that he will get this thing turned around. It's going to take some time. It's probably going to take more than one season, which is probably not what anybody wants to hear. I saw somebody make the comment, what do you mean it's going to take time? 14 years. I understand. We're all sick and tired of waiting for this team to turn it around. However, However, it is going to take some time. Now, that being said, some people were bitching about Sauce earlier, and this is the thing. I have seen this in the past, and I think we're seeing it again right now. Younger football fans are probably not going to know what the hell I'm talking about right now. So when I tell you this name, you can go ahead and try to Google it. Good luck spelling it, youngsters. But once upon a time, when the Jets had Darrelle Revis, the other best cornerback in football at that time was Nnamdi Asomugha from the Raiders. An awesome, awesome corner. But the thing about Sauce Gardner is he is a very, very good to elite level zone corner. Now that we're playing primarily man, Sauce is not a good man corner. Okay. And it's not a problem with the player. That's a problem with the scheme. Not everybody is going to fit this scheme. And I think they're finding out the hard way that some guys, and some guys can play man or zone, but some guys are either one or the other. uh, Asamoah was considered to be one of the best corners in football. Then all of a sudden, he's a free agent. He switches team, goes to a different team that fit his skill set, and he was awful. His production literally fell off a cliff. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. It's almost like taking, an undersized 4-3 and trying to play him in a 3, where he's taking an extra alignment and need a bigger, stronger guy to get off blocks. Like, you know, it, these players aren't interchangeable. You can't into a system and expect them to flourish. And that's part of the problem. Uh, our defensive coordinator is obviously a problem. I think that what needs to happen is both Wilks and Glenn okay, this is him we run. However, these guys just do nothing. Like Psalm looks, disguise some things, make it look like man, but then draw into zone. Do some things to help, fit the skill set of the guys that you have. They definitely need making some changes as far as game plan and as far as how they're approaching things. Now, will that fix all the problems? No, probably not. But I think it's going to fix some of them. And, the guys that are showing the lack of effort, lack of focus, like those guys need to be gone. But, there's nobody that we're going to trade for at this point of the year or even at the deadline that's going to come in and turn this thing around. And I personally don't want the Jets to do that. I don't want them to trade anybody or trade for anybody because I don't want to give up next year's assets to get a guy that might take us from a 3-win team to a 4-win team this year. It just doesn't make good sense. So, and Briga, hopefully you're wrong about that. Hopefully this doesn't turn into, a Rich type thing. I don't think it. I don't think it will. Aaron Glenn is a good coach, and for all those people, and I was watching this argument go on earlier on Jake's, and Jets Johnny was trying to, tell everybody like Chuck Noll started out with this record. This guy started out with this record, Kyle Shanahan, like bringing up all these examples. And somebody responded to him, Aaron Glenn isn't any of those coaches. Dude, you know what? You don't know who the hell Aaron Glenn is. After 5 games, you don't have any idea. I honestly think that Glenn is doing the best with what he's got to work with right now, but there do need to be some changes made. And for people who say like, oh, we need to get rid of Aaron Glenn, blah, blah, it's all coaching. For the people that say this is all coaching, let me quote Jets Forever and just say, you don't know ball. Okay. To say, oh, it's all coaching. It's all coaching. It's all the coach. You know what that is? That is bottom line. That's all that is. That is lazy analysis. Okay. It is not just all the coaches. Yes, there have been some coaching issues, but it isn't all the coaches. That's lazy. You know what? Dig into the tape. See what the problem. Some of it is lack of talent, but a lot of it is lack of effort. So I'm going to start bringing on some callers. First up, Dave Briga. What's happening, man? It was really good to meet you when you were down here.
Hey, Ricky, good evening. Yes, it was good meeting you. and all the fellas down in Tampa. Good to be here on your show. Wish you much success going forward. We're going through dark times, Ricky. Dark times. Very dark. It reminds starting off this regime, the way it's starting off, it's so hard to even realize it's this bad. Game after game, Rick. I mean, just from the beginning of the year, it just seems to be getting progressively worse instead of better. Now, you know, it's
Yes.
it's on everything. It's coaching. It's poor talent evaluation. It's retaining players from the former regime who should have been called out. It's just a total. It's all three phases of the game here. Three phases of the team. And I just think from the get go, the Italian evaluation by Glenn and Mucci has been horrible. It's just been horrible. And they put the product they're putting on, especially on defense on the field, is abominable. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, there's hardly anything more you could say, Ricky. It's like, I put it in the comments. This is like watching Rich Kotite Part 2. If you've been around that long, and I have been, it's just sad. It's so sad. And you know what? People see it. I mean, people don't understand. People that watch football on a regular, a daily basis, weekly basis, and follow, the NFL. They say, "What's wrong with this team?" They can't understand how bad this product is that they put on the field each week. I mean, it's like a terrible nightmare. The unexplained. That's what I call it. It's unexplainable. It really is. There's, I mean, the lack of effort by the players. But I just think that from the former regime, they kept guys that were, and you know what? You guys could be the most positive in the world. Some of you are, but some of these guys are poison. Some of these guys they're just poison for the former regime. They should have just been cleaned out. This thing got to be,
I agree.
retaining some of these players just got, if you're going to start off this bad, I mean, you just should have known this from the beginning and just start afresh. I mean, it's like piecemeal what they're doing. It's just like trying to put round pegs in a square hole. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, Ricky. It's not working on every facet of the game here. So if I don't know if that's my take, Rick.
Yeah, and you know what? I would agree. And I think because Glenn took guys like Kirby Joseph, who didn't look very good, and turned him into one of the better safeties in the league, I think he thought he would have similar results with guys like Tony Adams, and it's just not working. And part of it, I think, is the guys aren't as talented, but the other part is, and this isn't on Glenn, but with the old regime with Robert Saleh, these guys made mistakes and did shit wrong for so long, and there was no consequence, that I think it's just kind of ingrained in who they are, that it's okay to fuck up and nothing's going to happen. I mean,
Right.
to play a sport, and then they're going out there, it's insulting to the coaches. It just sucks, and it's awful to have to watch. Glenn will be able to get turned around, but you're right. Some of these guys, they need to go. And
Oh yeah. I mean,
now
they're just
I'm not going to kill Glenn. Tyler Aaron looks very, very bad. But let's be realistic. He was the last pick we had at the ass end of the fifth round. Most fifth round picks don't make the teams that drafted him. And for anybody that's going to say Tom Brady, dude, you know as well as I do, that's an outlier. Yes, every once in a while you find a gem at the very end of the draft. But generally speaking, those guys are camp bodies, or depth pieces, and you don't expect them to be contributors. And that's the problem. These guys shouldn't be seeing the field, but because of injuries to Jermaine, because of injuries, to Quincy, we're having to see these guys. And that's where the depth is a problem. And people say, We should have added depth at defensive end. We should have added a number two wide receiver. Yet if we did, we might not have Mason Taylor or Azarie Thomas. Like you can't have everything. You can't fix everything in one off season. And I realize that, but you're absolutely right. The product that we're seeing on the field right now is simply unacceptable.
Okay, I mean, you made a, this morning on one of the shows, you said you were going to discuss if this continues in this current form, this coaching, this player product that we're seeing on the field, if Glenn will make it to the next year, and if he doesn't start to progress, I don't see him coming back next year because this is, you know what, this is big time. This is, this is New York. This is not we've seen this. You can't put a product on this in that city next year as we're seeing this year. If this goes through the end of the season, we see no progress, and you're in a position to develop a quarterback, and you're got to pick a quarterback, to start a new, to bring in to start a fresh start. I don't trust this regime. I won't trust it unless I see progress. And you know what? If they're some of the moves they made that draft, moving up for Barron, some of the other things, not even taking a chance when other quarterbacks are available in the fourth and the fifth round. I mean, they already showed a lack of talent evaluation, signing some of these players, the free agents. I mean, they're just not doing it. I mean that Stevens, he's up and down. He doesn't get his head around. I mean, he has a good game once in a while, but that's it. I mean, you're paying this guy 37 million? I don't even know. It's just whatever it is, it's too much, you know. And then during the
Yeah,
off
there.
season, they go.
Yeah, I mean,
They,
in coverage, yeah, Stevens is sticky in coverage. He stays with his guys. Seen him make a couple of good pass breakups, but you're right. He never gets his head around for the ball, and those few good plays do not make up for all the bad plays. And like I was saying earlier, there was a play where it was similar to the one Garrett got called for, where he was just kind of hand fighting. Dude, the guy just barely put out one arm and he put Stevens right on his ass. And that kind of shit is embarrassing to me.
right.
And oh God, I
Well,
I had I
we're
had
facing.
something else and now
Yeah.
it escaped me. I got sidetracked. But
Well,
go on, Dave.
what do you think about if he fails to make progress? You think that might happen? He's not going to make another year.
You know what? I think he'll make another year. And this is the other thing that I wanted to say about this. I brought this up on my last show. Like the scouting department that Glenn had this year is leftovers from the Sala regime. He didn't have his own scouts in there. I know they've brought some people in, but from the time he got hired till like the draft, like there wasn't much time, and they relied on that scouting department, and in particular one area scout that was like, I guess, the southeast region scout. Like if you look at our draft picks, like Mason Taylor, LSU, Arian Smith, Georgia, Malachi Moore, Alabama, Azarie Thomas, Florida State, the other two guys from Miami, they're all from that southeast region. It was all probably the same scout, and it seems like they relied heavily on whoever that guy is. And it was a bad call. So I do think that, I'm not fully giving them a pass on that, but I think that kind of hamstrung them a little bit when it came to this draft. Um, I would like this, and we wouldn't be this upset, but they're not getting better each week. It actually seems like they're getting worse, and that's the bad part of it. So, like,
Yeah.
and I said this the other day, like, say you were a scout and you were looking at our draft picks. If you were at Florida State and you said, okay, I could go to Miami to see those guys or go to Georgia to see, like, you're a 10-hour drive from every other draft pick except for Membu. Like all of them were from, this Southeast area. And so, again, I'm not going to give Glenn a pass completely, but I think moving forward, that will get better. And I just want to see improvement. And the other day on Bobby's show, when Addison was doing a show, Gator came in and he said this, and it was probably the most level-headed, reasonable take that I've heard from a Jets fan so far. And he said, all the guys are learning a new system. The coaches are learning on the job. Like, this whole thing is kind of a learning process, and going to lose it over, as bad as these first 5 games have been. He said, the way I'm looking at it is everything before the bye is a wash, and I'm going to judge this team from the bye week on what happens the remainder of the year. Do they start making progress? Do we start seeing signs that things are headed in the right direction? And I'm going to hold off judgment until that. And I was like, damn, you know what? That's probably the most reasonable take that I've heard. And when I really stopped and thought about it, considering that these guys are first-time coaches and coordinators that are learning on the job, considering the fact that the guys are all, learning, a new scheme, I think that's a reasonable take and a reasonable approach. And I've decided that I'm going to kind of adopt that philosophy myself. And I'm not going to get too outraged or too freaked out over what's going on right now. And I'm just going to kind of put it in wait and see mode. And let's see what he does from, the bye week on through the remainder of the year. And yeah, you know what? If things don't get better or they continue to get worse, we're going to have to, Glenn's going to have some tough questions to answer if he wants to stay around. So
Well,
I completely agree with that. Like, I think that's the thing with all Jets fans. We just want to see signs that they're getting better and heading in the right direction. And right now we don't. And that's what's got everybody so pissed off.
we want to be competitive, competitive, not like these games we see them. We want to be competitive and see some progress week to week. That's all we're looking for. Just show us that. Show us that there's going to be player effort, and you're going to be, you're going to making progress. There's going to be a buy-in by the players and the coaches, and we look like we have some kind of hope going forward. We have to have hope. Okay, we have to be able to look forward, because right now we're in a dark period. So I just want to, always good talking to Rickie, and much success, my man.
All right, man. Thank you, Dave. It's always good
Take care.
talking to you. Appreciate you calling in. Appreciate you being here to support me, and have a great night, man.
You too, Rick.
Now, and this was the other thing that I was going to say. As far as people who are just saying it's all Glenn, it's all coaching, our players, this is all coaching. Anybody who's watching right now that feels like all of our problems are all coaching, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to stand on your head and watch the rest of this stream. Stay like that the whole time until this stream is over. If you can't do it or won't do it, well, why not? I just coached you to do it. So, you know what? Just because guys are being coached to do something doesn't mean they're going to do it or be able to do it, for that matter. Pointing fingers at the coach and saying it's all coaching, like I said before, it's just lazy analysis. It's just lazy analysis, period. Now, has coaching been a problem? Yes, there have been some things that do fall on coaching, in particular, this defensive coordinator. But to say that it's all coaching is just absolutely lazy. So, any of those people that think, encourage you to go back, break down the tape, and actually dig in and do some real homework and come back to me when I like the fact that he's out there trying to swat the ball out of the guy's hands, trying to teach them ball. These guys, at the end of the day, some of these guys, you just are who you are. And Tony Adams is just a bad football player. Brees Hall, and listen, for the longest time, I was the biggest Brees Hall supporter because I kept thinking about early career Brees Hall. I kept thinking about Brees Hall in Green Bay, bouncing off one guy and another and taking it to the house. I keep thinking about Brees Hall in Denver prior to the injury. One handoff, 74 yards to the house. But I have had to come to the harsh realization that Brees Hall is simply not the same guy as he was before that injury. That burst wasn't there. And there was a play in this last game where it almost looked like he was going to take it to the house. But it looks like he starts slowing down. It looks like he's constantly looking for the sideline to run out of bounds. And he ended up getting tracked down. And, you know, I've had to accept the fact that Brees just is not the same guy as he was before the injury. And that sucks. But you know what? That's reality. You know, sometimes guys get hurt, like Adrian Peterson had an ACL, came back and looked better than ever. And I think because of outliers like that, we expect everybody to be like that. But then you look at guys like, you know, Deuce McAllister when he was with the Saints, tore an ACL. That was it. That was a career for him. Never came back. A lot of times when these guys get hurt, they don't come back the same. And I have just had to accept the fact that Brees Hall is just not the same. You combine that with his fumbling issues, which, man, I, I, for the life of me, I don't know what's going on there, but it's gotten worse over time. And like I said, now we're in a point of trying to turn things around, and we got a number one running back that puts the ball on the turf every single week. Every single week he's fumbled, whether we were able to recover it ourselves or more times than not, the opposition recovers it because we're not really very good at recovering fumbles. Uh, Shit, I can't even remember the last time. You know what? As far as I can recall, the last time I remember the Jets recovering a fumble, it was Lamarcus Joyner recovered a fumble against it was it Baltimore, like the first game of that season a couple of years ago. Like it's been a while. Uh, I don't know, but the lack of effort is a big problem, and there's just very simply certain guys that need to be off of this team. Brandon Stevens, God, it looks like we're going to be stuck with not only this year, possibly another year. Uh, he won't keep his starting job that long. But Tony Adams, Michael Clements in particular, they both need to be gone. And guess what? Both of them have expiring deals, and I would guarantee you that neither one of those guys are re-signed. That's not going to help us this year. So, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of adjustments Glenn can make. Um, yes, Yeti. Sometimes I do read the chats. It's kind of tough for me. I don't have my glasses on right now. The chat's a little bit tough for me to read, and sometimes when I get rambling, I don't pay as good attention to the chat as I should. However, I have news about that. Uh, Thank you for bringing that up because I do have news about me reading the chat. As it turns out, on the 16th of this month, my new monitor will arrive here. I got a nice big 40-inch monitor that's coming in where the chat is going to be real big and the letters are going to be a couple inches tall, and I'll be able to read all you guys' chats and highlight them and get them on the screen a lot better than I've been doing up until now. So, uh, you know, yeah, I know sometimes I slack a little bit when it comes to reading the chat. That's why at work I get called everything from Stevie Wonder to Ray Charles to God, I can't even think of all the insults that my boss hurls at me. But I'm constantly made fun of for my eyesight, constantly made fun of because I've only got 40% hearing in one ear. And the real kicker is after getting cussed out and called names all night the other night, towards the end of the night, my boss threatens my job, tells me that if he has one more thing that he doesn't like about what I'm doing, he's going to tell me to clock out and never come home. And then he looks at me after threatening my job and says, "Go ahead and mistake my kindness for weakness and see what happens." And man, that statement, I just couldn't get my head around it because I've worked with that man for 6 years and I've never even seen anything that remotely resembles kindness. So I really don't know what he meant by that. But at any rate, back on topic. Yes. In the future, moving forward, I'll be much better about the chat. So what's that? Yeah, you know what? Maybe you know what? That's a good point, Rick Kent. Maybe he was being sarcastic. Um, I don't think he really has anything even close to a sense of humor, but that could be. Um, at any rate, yeah, I should be having a new monitor in the next couple of weeks, so I'll be able to keep up with the chat. I do have a new outro video for the end of the show, and I'm going to play that for you guys right now, and then I'll take some more calls. All right. And here we go. I know you've been waiting a little while.
You're right about one thing, Ricky.
So, Beast, how you doing tonight, brother?
Good. Clemens, sorry, has to go. That guy is weak, cheap-minded, and sad. Gotta go. Tony Adams, gotta go. I'm sorry, this guy has no heart, no balls. The whole team is lacking in many, many ways when it comes to getting the job done, getting things done. They sure can't get it done. They're too sleepy. It's like, where's your fucking heads? Hello, you got 80,000 people watching you in front of the whole fucking world, and you're gonna embarrass yourself like this shit. This is horse shit, guys. I think, and you're right about one other thing too. We got to get rid of some of this Salah shit. There's too many guys on the Salah shit that has to go, and several key points. I think Aaron Glenn's, having to trying to work his way around all this shit because it's like he doesn't know what he's doing. And I understand it's tough for him to cope with all the shit that he has to deal with, and it's like, and I know it's gonna make him want to pull his hair out of his head and pull his beard out and just go like, what the fuck am I working with? What am I working with? These people don't know what the fuck they're doing. When it comes to defense, they can't pull it together. Offense, Brees, I don't know what the hell his thinking is, but lately he's been lacking some work, and it needs to be addressed loud and clear. Called, dude, 2 hands on the ball, 2 hands, lock it in fucking place and run. It's not hard. It's like when you fucking put your first chicken in the fryer. Not fucking difficult. This is simple shit that we've all been learning since we were kids. This shit is not hard. Folks, I'm only going to say it's one time only. This team needs a good sized foot in the ass and a good one. And I'm talking not just one, not two, but 3 boots up the ass. And it's time to tell them, wake up, get up. 0-5 is enough. This shit has gone too far and over the line. I'm sick and tired of it. Week after week after week, we got to hear the same excuses of, oh, it's gonna be hard to turn the team around. It's like pulling a big ship. No. Don't pull that shit with me. How about y'all go get your fucking act straight, get your balls reevaluated, and man up and get your fucking act together. Because hey, you got 15 of the top newspapers in New York City that love to write this shit down, and you don't think you gotta deal with all that? You fucking have to. That's a part of life. See, I remember what Mickey Mantle once said on 61. You know, it doesn't matter what the truth is, you still get booed for that shit. But you know what? You gotta live through it. Sure, it's gonna be tough, it's gonna be rough. But when you come to fucking New York, you gotta fucking produce. That is what brought you to the fucking dance. If you don't want to be here, you can leave. The door swings 2 different ways. It's you're in or you're out. Either get it together or fucking get off the ship. What's it gonna be? Make up your fucking minds.
Absolutely. And real quick for Mike D's Nuts and a couple of other people talking about the food reference. If you weren't here at the beginning of the show, I wrote a letter to Brees Hall. He had a post this week saying he's running out of time to show people who he is in this league. I wrote him a letter and said, I already know who you are. Please autograph this for me. And this is going in the letter to Brees Hall, the Butterfinger, because I'm tired of seeing his ass fumble the ball every single week. So that's why I'm holding the Butterfinger up. That's my Brees Hall souvenir, we'll call it.
Here's what he needs to learn how to do.
Yeah. I'm getting really fucking tired of that.
And just go with it. I mean, Jesus, we all grew up with this team. I've watched this team since I was 13. From the Curtis Martins to the Johnsons to Kurt Beck, Anthony Beck. Let's see, Fred Baxter, even fucking Neil O'Donnell, Adrian Morrell. These guys fucking played the game. They did it with balls. What's this team? I don't know. I can't even tell. I mean, let's look at it. Justin Fields, great guy, but sure, he's got a couple bumps in the road that he needs to fix. Let's look at it this way. Braylon Allen, I don't see any potential in him. He doesn't have the potential to be a running back. You know, okay, sure he's 240, but there's some problem with him. He needs to learn to hold on to the ball. Not fucking difficult. It's simple shit, folks. George Carlin said it a long time ago. You get up, you eat 3 good meals, you take 1 good shit, and you go back to bed. What's the fucking mystery? Do you have a mystery? No, there's no mystery. It's right in your fucking eyes. Get it together. If here's the deal. You want to win games? Get off your ass. Stop your bitching, your whining, your pissing, your moaning. Don't you bring that drama shit when you come to work. You leave your bullshit at the house. Leave it there. When you get up here, you lace your goddamn boots up and you take your goddamn ass whooping like a man. Sure, the fans are going to boo you because you suck. And number 2, why don't you learn to act like a fucking team and actually grow a set of balls for once in your life and start acting like a fucking
I could Yeah, I got another caller who's waiting to come on, so I'm going to let you go. But I want to thank you for saying something right there. And the effort, the way these guys are playing. If you remember back in the Herm Edwards era, they used to say, play like a Jet. Okay. And I remember in the playoffs against the Bengals, Dustin Keller running down the field, fighting to get extra yardage. That was playing like a Jet. I remember in the Monday Night Miracle when Vinny got intercepted in the end zone and Lavernius Coles reached up and grabbed the ball and ripped it out of the corner's hands. So it wasn't an interception, it was a touchdown. That was playing like a Jet, fighting for extra yards, fighting through contact. That is playing like a Jet. These guys on this defense this season, they're not playing like Jets. I don't know what the fuck they're playing like, but it certainly isn't the Jets football that I grew up, watching and that I loved. I think about those teams like he was saying, that Vinny Testaverde, Chad Pennington, Curtis Martin, the whole Curtis Martin, Kevin Mawai era, from Parcells on through Herm Edwards, where we were in the playoffs damn near every year. And if we weren't in the playoffs, it was like in for 2 years, out for one, in for 2 years, out for one. But we were at least competing all the time. And it was run the ball and play good defense. And to me, that's what Jets football is. When I became a fan, when Parcells got here and when he brought Curtis Martin here, like that's when I first became a Jets fan. So when I became a fan, the Jets were a good fucking team. We were in the conversation every single year. We were competing every single year. And I don't go back as far as Dave Briga, or some of the other people that have been watching, since the late 60s, early 70s. I mean, when the Jets won their Super Bowl with Joe Namath, I was 1 year old. So needless to say, I don't remember that. Of course I've watched it since, but I don't remember that. There were a lot of the bad Jets years prior to me becoming a fan that I didn't see, that I didn't have to endure all that. So when I became a fan, every single week, I didn't think we were going to win. I didn't hope we were going to single week. When we went into the game, I knew we were going to win every week, regardless of who we were playing. I miss that feeling of confidence of being able to go into games like that. Somebody else waiting to come on. And what's up, Tommy? How you doing tonight?
Rickie, one love. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Rickie?
Yes, I can.
All right, brother. Look,
Yep.
you've been in this this situation longer than me. I'm going to be 40 years old, and I am sick and tired of this shit that the Jets display every single Sunday. Makes me not even be able to go into work. It's very bad. This is the worst we've been in 40 fucking years, okay? And I'm sorry for my language, but it's the truth. And I'm sick and tired of why is Steve Wilkes still our defensive coordinator? Why? I guess Aaron Glenn, I guess they'll give him the year. But like, you gotta be kidding me. The moves that are on defense, they're complete shit. They can't fucking tackle. If you cannot tackle in the NFL, you cannot win games. Don Bosco, Bergen Catholic, whatever your top school is in Florida, or whatever the top school is in California, can beat the Jets right now, bro. I mean, let's be real. Like, Aaron Glenn wants to say, like, you're making changes. You want to start with cutting the guy, whatever the guy that fumbled the ball. And then you bring in a guy, and he fumbles and then he fucking he fucking punched the ball on the 2-yard line. He fair catches, and then there's no accountability for him. Where's the accountability if you're trying to walk into this team and talk about accountability, bro? Where is it? It's all talk. It's all talk, Rickie. I'd like to hear your opinion.
Well, this is the thing with some of that is I think Glenn knows that too. But right now, like, we don't have depth at certain positions. We don't have anybody to bring in to get rid of some of these guys who are sucking right now. So, that's where I go back to saying it's going to take time because, right now we kind of got to work with what we've got. I do agree about the defensive coordinator. Like, if these guys don't fit this scheme, then they need to start putting in some plays and putting some things in the game plan that these guys can do that do fit their skill set. Sauce, as I was saying earlier, is a great zone corner, but he's no good in man, and we're seeing that now. So maybe we do some things where it looks like we're in man, but then they drop into zone where he's going to be able to perform better. The fumbling, dude, I don't even know what the fuck to tell you about that. Like that shit drives me crazy, and I couldn't
Rickie,
agree more.
I
Brees
don't
fumbles
wanna
all the
hear
time. We bring in
that
Jalen
these
Allen,
are-
he fumbles.
I don't
Like,
want
it
to
drives me
fucking
mad.
Rickie, I don't want to fucking hear it. These aren't Aaron Glenn's guys because you had enough time in the offseason and you signed Cisco and Stevenson and you fucking got no middle linebacker and you signed these guys to contracts. These are your guys. So don't fucking tell me you're not the same old Jets when you fucking are worse than the same old Jets. At least Aaron Glenn was a half of a Deion Sanders. We at least had some Marvin Lewis, Mo Lewis, Marvin Jones. Like we had players. Don't tell me you don't know what the same old Jets means when you were on the fucking 98 roster with Parcells. You know what the same old Jets are. You know. Don't fucking lie to us. Don't lie to our fan base.
That part I will agree with. I didn't like it when he made that statement because, like, you know what? Under Robert Saleh, we were winning a game with seconds left and punted the ball right to a returner and let him score on us so that we fucking lost. This year, we're blowing leads at the end of games. It is just like the same old Jets. Absolutely. And you don't have to worry about your language here. You don't get timed out. You don't get in any trouble for using bad words. We're all adults here. And the way I look at it is like this. If you're a Jets fan,
God bless, bro, because you suffered from
dude, it's all good. But like realistically, if you are a Jets fan that has kids and you have had to watch this team play like this, I guarantee your kids have heard bad words. There ain't no way around that shit. So, yeah, I'm not going to flag anybody for using bad language because, bad language kind of goes along with what we're having to watch every Sunday. Like you can't watch this shit without having something to say about it. It's been awful.
Rickie, so, God bless. I'll let you take other callers and let's stay strong as Jet fans, bro. JETS, Jets, and love you. Love
I couldn't
Jets.
Agree with you more on that, and since I've seen you, but
stay strong, brother.
Right on, man. Have a good. All right, have a good night, Tommy. And I do agree with a lot of that, man. Like, it's tough to watch this shit week in and week out and not get discouraged. I'm going to say it again. I have adopted Gators philosophy, and I'm going to say that everything before the bye week, I'm just going to try to ignore. And I'm going to judge this team from the bye week on till the end of the season and see, do they improve? Do they look better? Do they make changes? It's gonna depend on what happens down the stretch. But right now, and I said this before, like if we were getting incrementally better each week, this fan base wouldn't be this upset. But we're not getting better. If anything, the defense in particular is getting worse. And I don't people coming at me with stats like stats are misleading. I saw people in the 3 full games Justin Fields has played. He threw for this many yards and this many touchdowns. And if you add it all up, yes, it's like 886 yards, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions. That all sounds great. But 7 touchdowns is not going to win you games when the opponents that you're playing are scoring 12 touchdowns over that same span. Like, dude, this team ain't built for a fucking track meet. This team is not built to be in a shootout. This team is not built for coming behind. If we had the same defense that we had in 2022 or 2023, where we were holding opponents to 17 points or less, hell, we'd be 3-1 right now, easily. But guess what? This defense, it ain't that defense. I can't blame all of Aaron Glenn for that. It was Joe Douglas that got rid of JFM. It was Joe Douglas that got rid of Bryce Huff for nothing. He gutted our pass rush. I mean, yes, he did bring in McDonald, but the pass rush has been a big problem. Now, I said a couple of weeks ago, and I was really hoping I would be wrong, that until we got Jermaine back and we actually had a pass rush, we may not win a game. And I was really hoping that I was wrong about that, but it looks like I wasn't. Thank God Jermaine's going to be back this week. You know me, that's my guy. And yes, I love Florida State. But I love Jermaine. I think him coming back is going to improve our pass. I think we will be able to start putting some pressure on some quarterbacks. And hopefully, we've already seen Malachi Moore starting to come in over Adams in a lot of situations. Hopefully, we start seeing Azareye'h Thomas come in to replace Brandon Stevens' sorry ass. I had enough of him. And I think it's time to see Azareye'h. And yes,
I'm Rickie, New York, and I love to smoke. Florida State, I really love Florida State. Hey, easy Thomas, you know it's from Florida State. At any rate, I call into smoking debate. Florida State, I really love Florida State. At any rate, thanks for taking my call, G.
At any rate, me on this topic, going back and watching this game and having to go over plays and really dissect them and watching the same bad plays over and over again, trying to identify who the culprit is, why are things looking this way. And what I got from watching that is the culprits are the same. It's Tony Adams, out of position, running into guys, Brandon Stevens falling down, not getting his head around, Jamie and Sherwood being late to the party, fucking, all these guys are late to the fucking party. They're not swarming to the ball. And you know what? I was going to say this too. And I've seen this time and again from several Jets players. Andre Cisco, the most guilty, but also Sherwood too. The ball carrier's coming at them. They're right there about to make the play, and it's like they hesitate. They hesitate for a second, I don't know if they're like breaking down, getting ready to apply the hit. I don't know what that hesitation is, but just that split second hesitation, they hesitate, and the next thing you know, the ball carrier is by them. And it's driving me nuts watching that shit. Because while our guys may be hesitating, our opponents are not. They're not stopping. They're running right through people. They're playing through the whistle, and our guys are not. I'm tired of the lack of effort. I'm tired of guys not running to full speed. I'm tired of guys not swarming to the ball. Uh, it's bullshit. And in Glenn's defense, you know, I don't know what he can possibly do at this point because we just don't have the depth to cut all these guys or to bench all these guys. So in that respect, I do think it's going to take time. I do think we may be another season away. And, you know, I wonder sometimes, like using Brandon Stevens as an example. I know that Glenn has fixed other players, but, or a better way is to say, gotten other players to reach their potential. But in the case of, say, Brandon Stevens, as an example, did Glenn overestimate his ability to fix him? Or did Glenn underestimate how truly bad Brandon Stevens are? Does Brandon Stevens' problems go deeper than what Glenn thought? Is it more than just what it appeared to be on the surface? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. Maybe it's a combination of both. And you know, that's the problem I have with people that are just trying to lay it all on the coaching. Oh, this is all coaching. It's all coaching. No, it's not fucking all coaching. Okay, yes, there are some issues with coaching. There are definitely issues with the defensive coordinator, but there's also problems with this roster, talent-wise, effort-wise, and it's a combination of everything. You know, you put all that together, and what you have is a perfect storm for a shit season. And you know, it's like that old Alan Parsons song, Games People Play. You know that song that says, "Where do we go from here now that all of our season has blown up?" Well, those aren't the exact words, but they should be. Uh, if that song was written by a Jets fan, that's what the words would be. But like, you know, where do we go from here? So once again, I'm going to adopt Gator's philosophy. I'm going to try to ignore what goes on prior to the bye week. And I'm just going to judge this team from the bye week on to the end of the season. Do we see progress? Do we see the ship starting to turn? Do we see improvements? You know, if we do, then I'll be much more encouraged. I still think that we're a year away. And for all those people, you know, that are bitching and throwing a fit about Glenn and us starting 0-5, hey, you guys are all the people that said we were a 4-win team at best. All you people that said, oh, I don't see the Jets winning more than 4 games. Well, guess what? You're getting your wish. We're right on track for that shit right now. The way things look right now, I doubt we win more than 4 games, you know? I'm not one of these people, you know, like Tanky V, that's going to hope the Jets just blow every game so we can get the better draft pick. Fuck that. I'm a real football fan. I want wins. I don't give a fuck about a draft pick. Wherever we draft is wherever we draft. I want to win games. I want to win games now. If we can't, I want to. So that's it. That's going to be my final word on that. You know, appreciate everybody for joining me tonight. You guys are great. Appreciate your support. Appreciate everybody that called in. You know, hopefully as this thing gets rolling, we'll get even more callers calling in. I encourage everybody to call. Nate, thank you for calling this morning. It was awesome to have you calling in. I appreciate you, man. And yeah, and I get it. Right now, there is not really, you know, a lot to be excited about. And it's a testament to this fan base that there's this many of us that watch these shows day in and day out to talk about this team day in and day out when they really give us no good reason to. Like this year, I mean, there were some encouraging signs in that Pittsburgh game. Uh, there have been moments here and there, but by and large, this season has been an entire fucking shit show. It's been awful. It's been hard to watch. It pisses me off, and I feel bad for my fellow Jets fans. You know, when we had to meet up here in Tampa, I got to meet so many of you guys. You know, Charleston Jets Rube, Murdog. I keep forgetting to mention Murdog. You know, Pagan, Artie, Jets Johnny, Dave Briga, Leany, Aurora, Jay Graves, Rick Kent, the legend, Big Fella. I mean, you know, Dark Knight Steve and Daytona Joe. Like, dude, so many great Jets fans that I met. And it was awesome, man. I love meeting you guys. I love hanging out with you guys. The Jets show, we talk about Jets, but really it's a platform for all of us to get together and connect. And here's one of my favorite Jets fans right now. What's up, Addison?
What's up, Ricky? Sorry, you're ending. I was about to call, but I just ran outside. Wanted to say what's up, and you're right. We suck, but we're also Jet fans. You need to stick it out, see this shit through. We're not gonna fucking continuously press the reset button and wonder why we're always at square one. We have to let Aaron Glenn build this fucking thing. He inherited a condemned piece of property, and he's trying to rebuild it. Give him time. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
First city.
That's definitely a good way to look at it. And dude, that's the thing is like I think, you know, a lot of thing at the ground, you know, the foundation, they're digging footers. They're doing the dirty work right now.
Yeah, man.
Eventually we'll get to that top level, but we're not there yet, man. It's going to take time. And like in Jake's show earlier, somebody said, what do they mean it takes time? I've been waiting 14 years. Dumbass, Aaron Glenn hadn't been here for 14 fucking years.
Yeah.
You can't put all of that on him. Aaron Glenn hasn't even been here for 14 months. Fuck, the guy's barely been here 14 weeks. Chill out with that. But I'm as impatient as everybody, you know, and I was amped when we got Aaron Glenn. I thought finally we got a real fucking coach that knows what the fuck he's doing and can turn this thing around. But you
Oh yeah.
know,
I'll smoke to that, Ricky.
It's like having a fucking Lamborghini with a flat tire or a bad alignment. You don't have any direction.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And that's kind of where we are now. We're like the race car. That doesn't steer, you know.
Yeah, there it is. I feel you, Ricky. I'm gonna be patient. You don't have to be a doctor to have patience, y'all. Let's go.
Right on. Right on. Well, I'm going to get ready to wind this thing down.
Do it.
I know you've been waiting patiently, and so everybody, when we get done here, make sure you follow me and go right. All I can say is hang in there, Jets fans. That there are better days ahead. We may not be able to see it from here, but good times are coming. It's going to be a rough road to get there, but fuck, man, we're Jets fans. We've been through this shit time and again. We'll live. We might not be happy about it. We might bitch a whole bunch, but we'll live. So, you know, just be there, support your fellow fans, and, you know, stick to it. And good things are coming. So, everybody have a great night. Thank you to everybody that called in. Thank you to everybody who keeps showing up here to support me. I appreciate all of you. And everybody have a good night. Like always, go Jets, and follow me on over for the Addison show. Everybody have a good night.
Love you, tight.